Greetings, everyone. I'm David, your guide into the shadowy corners of true crime. Today, we're diving headfirst into a chilling tale that unfolded amidst the sacred chaos of the Mahakumbh Mela in 2025. A case so haunting, it'll linger in your thoughts long after the screen fades to black. Picture this, a humble lodge in the bustling town of Chunar, nestled in India's Uttar Pradesh, where an ordinary morning spiraled into a nightmare of blood and betrayal. Let's unravel this grim mystery together, step by step, as we explore a story that intertwines faith, deception, and cold-blooded murder. It was February 19th, 2025, when the sun cast its golden rays over Chunar, a quaint town buzzing with pilgrims drawn to the Mahakumbh Mela, a monumental Hindu festival that graces the earth once every dozen years. For 45 days, millions flood the region, seeking spiritual redemption through sacred dips in the holy rivers. Amid this fervor, a lodge owner, a middle-aged man named Ravi Sharma, trudged toward room 7, his footsteps echoing on the creaky wooden floor of his modest home-turned guest house. His mission was simple: remind a guest that checkout time loomed and new pilgrims were eager to claim the space. Ravi had opened his doors to travelers during the festival, transforming his family's ancestral home into a budget-friendly haven. With hotels overflowing and the government's accommodations stretched thin, locals like him seized the opportunity to earn a little extra by renting out rooms. Room 7 housed a couple, a man and a woman, who had arrived the previous evening, their weary faces hinting at the long journey they'd undertaken for the Mahakumbh's divine promise. Standing before the weathered door, Ravi rapped his knuckles against it, the sound sharp in the stillness. No answer. He knocked again, louder this time, his brow furrowing. Silence. A flicker of unease stirred in his chest as he noticed the door wasn't locked. It hung slightly ajar, swaying faintly as if beckoning him inside. With a hesitant push, he stepped into the dimly lit room, the air thick with an unplaceable tension. The sight that greeted him stopped him cold. A thin crimson trail snaked across the floor, seeping from beneath the bathroom door like a silent accusation. His heart thudded as he approached, each step heavier than the last. With trembling hands, he gripped the bathroom doorknob, turned it, and pushed. The hinges groaned, revealing a scene that ripped a scream from his throat, a sound so raw it startled his family downstairs. There, sprawled across the cold tiles, lay a woman, her lifeless form drenched in blood. Her throat bore a jagged, gaping wound, the work of a merciless blade. Her vacant eyes stared at nothing, her once vibrant sari now a shroud of red. Ravi stumbled back, his mind reeling. This was no accident. This was murder. Just beyond the lodge's walls, the Triveni Sangam, the sacred confluence of the Ganges, Yamuna, and mythical Saraswati rivers, teemed with life. Pilgrims waded into the waters, their chants rising like a hymn to the heavens, oblivious to the horror unfolding mere steps away. The Mahakumbh, a spectacle of devotion held every 12 years, drew devotees from every corner of India to bathe away their sins and seek moksha, liberation from the endless cycle of birth and death. Every 144 years, the festival ascends to the grand Mahakumbh Mela, an event of unparalleled spiritual weight, and 2025 marked that rare convergence in Prayagraj. Ravi, still shaking, bolted to his quarters, ignoring his wife's worried questions as he fumbled for his phone. His fingers trembled as he dialed the police, his voice breaking as he stammered out the grisly discovery. Within minutes, Sirens pierced the festival's hum, and officers swarmed the lodge, their boots thudding against the floor as they cordoned off the scene. The woman's body told a brutal story. Her throat had been sliced with precision, the wound deep and deliberate. Yet despite a meticulous search, no weapon emerged, no knife, no shard of glass, nothing to hint at the killer's tool. The police summoned an ambulance, and the woman, later identified as Minakshi, was whisked to a nearby hospital, her body a silent witness to an unsolved crime. The investigation hit an immediate wall. Ravi, questioned intently by the officers, explained that his lodge wasn't a formal establishment. It was a makeshift setup, born of necessity during the Mahakumbh's chaos. "I don't keep record," he admitted, his voice tinged with regret. "People come and go so fast, hundreds every day. I didn't even ask for their names." He recalled that the woman had checked in with a man, a curly-haired figure who'd paid in cash and spoken little. But beyond that, nothing. No IDs, no register, no trace. This lack of documentation wasn't unusual. Across Prayagraj, Chunar, and other festival hubs, residents flung open their homes to pilgrims, charging a modest 500 rupees, about $6 a night. The Indian government provided tent cities and communal kitchens, but many preferred the privacy of these ad hoc lodges. For the police, though, it was a nightmare. Without records, the victim and her companion were phantoms in a sea of millions. Then came the second blow. Not a single CCTV camera graced Ravi's property. In a town swollen with transient souls, this absence turned the case blind. The police had no footage, no witnesses, and no murder weapon, just a body and a lodge owner's vague recollection of a man who'd vanished into the night. At the hospital, a basic examination confirmed what the police already suspected. Minakshi had bled out from the throat wound, her death swift but agonizing. Among her sparse belongings, they found a single photograph, a grainy image of her smiling beside a river, her sari fluttering in the breeze. It was their only lead. With no ID, no address, and no family to claim her, they turned to the public, plastering the photo across newspapers and social media with a plea, "Do you know this woman?" The Mahakumbh scale complicated matters further. From January 13th to February 26th, 2025, an estimated 660 million souls descended upon Prayagraj, a human tide that overwhelmed even the most robust systems. The police, stretched thin by crowd control and festival security, shelved the investigation until the event's end, hoping Minakshi's family would surface. On February 21st, a young man named Ashwini stepped off a train at Prayagraj railway station, his face etched with worry. Beside him were his younger brother Adash and their maternal uncle Ramesh, all three hailing from Delhi, a 9-hour journey away. Their mission was born of dread. Ashwini's mother, Minakshi, had vanished during the Mahakumbh, a fact he'd gleaned from a newspaper clipping that matched the police's missing person notice. At the station, Ashwini wasted no time. He approached the railway police, his voice trembling as he explained, "My mother came here for the holy dip a few days ago. She's been missing ever since. I saw her photo in the paper. My father's not answering his phone either. I'm terrified something's happened to them both." He pulled out his phone, showing a 28-second video his father, Ashoke, had sent via WhatsApp. A clip of Minakshi standing near the river, her laughter drowned by the crowd's roar. The officer scrutinized the footage, his eyes narrowing. "That's Juni God," he said, pointing Ashwini toward one of the 41 designated bathing zones along the riverbank. Check the lost and found centers there. They've been reuniting people all festival. With hope flickering, Ashwini, Adash, and Ramesh hurried to Juni Ghat, weaving through throngs of pilgrims. But the centers yielded nothing. No record of a 40-year-old woman matching Minakshi's description. Desperation mounting, Ashwini turned to the Prayagraj police, clutching the newspaper article and photograph. The officers' faces darkened as recognition dawned. They'd seen that face. Not alive, but lifeless in a lodge bathroom. To confirm, they escorted the trio to the morgue, where Minakshi's body lay under a sterile sheet. When the cloth was lifted, Ashwini's knees buckled, sobs tearing from his throat. Adash clung to his uncle, tears streaming as Ramesh whispered, "It's her." The revelation jolted the stalled investigation back to life. Minakshi, a mother of 3 from Delhi's Srinagar, had come to Prayagraj with her husband Ashoke on February 17th. They'd arrived by train, called their sons to confirm their safety, and even shared that fateful WhatsApp video after their dip. Yet by the morning of February 19th, she was dead, and Ashok's whereabouts were a mystery. Ashwini recounted his last conversation with his father. Early on February 19th, Ashok had called, his voice strained. "We took our dip last night," he'd said. "But in the crowd, your mother slipped away. She didn't have a phone. I searched for hours, but she's gone. I'm still looking. Don't worry, I'll find her." He'd promised to call again once Minakshi was safe, then hung up. Since then, silence. The police listened intently, but a contradiction gnawed at them. Ravi, the lodge owner, had insisted a man stayed with Minakshi that night. If Ashok had lost her in the crowd, who was that man? Determined to unravel the tangle, they scoured nearby homes for CCTV footage, finally striking gold. A grainy clip from February 18th showed Minakshi walking hand in hand with a curly-haired man toward Ravi's lodge. When Ashwini and Adash saw it, their jaws dropped. "That's Dad," Ashwini whispered. Ravi confirmed it too, nodding solemnly. "That's them, the woman and the curly-haired man who checked in." The footage shattered Ashok's story. He hadn't lost Minakshi, he'd lied. On February 23rd, after days of unanswered calls, Ashwini followed police instructions, texting his father, "Dad, I'm in Prayagraj looking for Mom. I'm at the Lost and Found near Unigat. Where are you?" To everyone's shock, Ashok replied, "Stay there, I'm coming." When he arrived, plainclothes officers pounced, cuffing him as Ashwini stared in disbelief. Under interrogation, Ashoke clung to his tail, until the CCTV footage was shoved in his face. Cornered, he crumpled, confessing a plot 3 months in the making. He'd despised Minakshi, fueled by her suspicions of his affair with a co-worker at the Delhi Municipal Corporation, where he toiled as a sanitation worker. For 25 years, they'd built a life in Srinagar, raising 3 children. But beneath the facade, resentment festered. Ashoke had meticulously planned her death, choosing the Mahakumbh's chaos as his cover. He'd brought a knife from Delhi, ensured neither carried ID, and scouted a lodge with no cameras or records. On February 18th, after their dip, he lured Minakshi to Ravi's lodge, staged an argument, and slit her throat as she fled to the bathroom. He cleaned the blade, bagged his bloody clothes, and dumped them in a bin before dawn. Then he called Ashwini with his fabricated tale. His motive? Freedom to marry his lover without suspicion. The Mahakumbh, a symbol of purity, became his stage for sin. Today, Ashoke awaits trial, the prosecution pushing for the harshest penalty. The case, steeped in betrayal and brutality, has gripped India. A stark reminder that evil can lurk even in sacred places. We'll keep you posted on the trial's twists. Stay tuned to the David True Crime community. What do you think of Ashoke's chilling deception? Drop your thoughts below. And if this tale gripped you, hit like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.